everyone, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, please consider subscribing, liking this video, and commenting down below.
Today's video is going to be about our trip and engagement in Puerto Rico. So if you like what you see, please let us know and enjoy. Alright, so about 4.5 years into our relationship, Christina started coming to me saying, you know what we've never done before? We've never gone on a couples trip. Just you and me away for a weekend or something, you know, sometime just ourselves. We should plan something.
Back in August 2019, we were living in a different apartment, but we were kind of throwing around ideas one day about maybe going to Saratoga Springs and staying in a bed and breakfast, something like simple, something cheap, something easy. One day when we were just kind of looking at hotels, I was looking at bed and breakfast, you're like, hey babe, what do you think about going to Puerto Rico? And I was like, well, I mean, that sounds kind of cool and everything, but
it was going to be a big trip. It was going to be kind of expensive,
yeah,
and much bigger than anything we had done ourselves before. But there was a plan. I tell you, there was a plan.
The only other trips we had ever gone on were when you came with my family to Lake George, and that really wasn't like a couples trip. You went with my family and I.
That summer I was thinking about this couples trip that Christina wanted to take, and I was also thinking about how long we'd been in this relationship, and that I knew for quite some time she was ready and waiting to move on to the next big step.
For like 2 years I've been waiting.
So I had to get the ball rolling, and this kind of just, it seemed like the perfect time to get it all started. So we went away
in July of 2019. Right?
In July, in the summer of 2019, we went on a family trip. Christina and her family have gone up to Lake George every year, and I was asked to accompany them, and we had a lot of fun. And I took that opportunity and I pulled her parents aside, her very traditionally Italian father and her extremely protective Irish mother, and I asked them both if they would give me their blessing in marrying their daughter. So of course Christina had no idea that was the moment I asked. I told them that I wasn't sure exactly when yet. I knew by the end of the year that I would propose, and that kind of got the gears churning, and that's when I really started planning this big thing out. Somewhere along the line we decided that Puerto Rico would be an amazing trip, and we started working things out one at a time.
Through my job I get discounts on hotels and everything, so that kind of helped us with the trip, and then he kind of funded the trip for us. I didn't think anything of it. I thought, because I've been asking for so long to go on a trip, I was like, oh, it'd be kind of cool. I've never been to the Caribbean before. It'd be something different, and I don't like the cold, so it would be something warm and, something different. So I was kind of excited for it. I was just more worried about you and finances and everything like that, because obviously Puerto Rico was not going to be the cheapest trip next to where we had originally planned. So, but I was excited. I was stoked. But we booked for months out so we could, save up money and, figure out what we wanted to do. We booked in, I think, August, a month after you had asked my parents' permission. And then we wound up going at the end of November. We left the day after Thanksgiving. So.
That was really funny. When I told them that I didn't know when yet, they got kind of like really disappointed in a funny way. They were like, oh, are you kidding me? You're going to leave us on the hook? We don't even know when it's going to happen. We got to sit on this secret for months.
They must have been like antsy because they've been waiting for it for a long period of time.
Me.
Yeah, yeah, myself included.
So three nights, 3 days, and I think the first night we arrived pretty late, so we were just gonna kind of get the rental car, pull into the hotel, relax, plan out the rest of our trip.
The first night was great though, because remember we went up, because it was so late, we went up just going to the restaurant in the hotel, like right on the beach, and we wound up just sitting right by the water.
Okay,
by
yeah,
the
but
sand.
let's not forget about the rental car situation.
Oh yeah, well that was a disaster.
Man, right off the bat we grabbed this rental car, and I mean, they kind of gave me an upgrade. I wanted like a little compact, and they gave us a full-size sedan, so that was pretty nice, and it was a beautiful car, but right off the bat, the whole thing smelled terrible. Like it almost smelled like death, and the blinker didn't work. But it was, I think it was like the only car they had available for us, and so we took it anyway.
We took it anyway, yeah.
And
but then that night, it was kind of smooth sailing the first night, because we just went back to the hotel and that's the night that we had the lobster bisque.
Oh my goodness,
With
best lobster
with
bisque I've
the
ever
glow
had.
in the dark menus, which I will insert a picture of the menu. But it was pretty sweet. Like, we sat right on the beach and had dinner the first night. So the first night was smooth sailing.
Christina had organized this brilliant spoon tour. This is in Old San Juan, by the way. I'd been there a couple times previously, and I love the area. It's really, really pretty. And so she organized this spoon tour that we were supposed to go on the following morning.
It was like a 2-hour walking, eating tour where you could try out like different restaurants and different kinds of food and everything. And I was really excited about it because it was right near where you explore with your buddies when you went to Puerto Rico for school. So.
Yeah, it would have been a nice little taste of the local culture, as they say. And
so
something that we
let's just
overlooked tremendously
Yeah.
was the time zone difference.
yeah, let's just say the whole second day was like a disaster. Normally your phone will naturally reset to the time zone.
I don't think we were far enough over that it recognized where we were, and so
It was supposed to be an hour behind over there, but it still said that we were in our Eastern time zone back at home. So it was saying we were an hour ahead when we were actually an hour behind. So our spoon tour, I think, started at 9. We woke up at 10 a.m. there. So, and the rules specified that if you were even like a minute late, you couldn't go.
as soon as the tour
Yeah.
departs, even if you catch up to them and find them
You
along
can't
the way,
go.
you still can't go.
You can't go. They won't let you.
So we were super bummed, couldn't get a refund. You know,
I
we
was
were like,
I think more upset because that was like my financial contribution to the entire trip, and
it was gonna be super exciting
I
too.
was really
but
looking forward to
it
it.
was all right. I said, hey, you know, babe, don't worry about it. We'll just I know kind of this area. We'll take a walk around. I'll show you some of my favorite places, and maybe we'll run into the spoon tour along the way. Who knows? So we decided to spend that morning walking around on our
Yeah.
own.
So mishap number 2, when we got there, we parked where we would have originally parked when we were going to the spoon tour, and
There was this parking garage there, I guess, and it had a little sign out front, and it was like $5 an hour or whatever, and there was a guy who was helping park people, and he was collecting the money for the parking, so you know he kind of helped us park, and I gave him the $5 for the hour, and I tried to say in my broken Spanish, you know, okay, we'll be back in like an hour or so, and he walked off and helped the next person. Well, when we came back, the parking man was nowhere to be found, and I took another look at the sign and found out that where we had parked, there was no correlation between
the indoor parking garage and the side parking where we had to park our car.
So there was just some random guy walking around parking people and taking their money.
Yeah, so we lost $5. So it's not like
It's
we
no
lost,
big deal. He probably needed it.
It's
you
not
know.
like we lost a ton of money, but it was kind of a laughable mishap. After that,
Conned right off the bat.
well, you did, I didn't. But after that, we decided to go explore. What was it?
Oh man, there's 2 of them. One's the Castillo de San Cristobal, and
That's the
I
first
don't
one we
remember
went to.
what the other one is. But there are these really, really cool old forts from I think around the 1500s or whenever San Juan was established. I don't remember. The Spanish Army set them up, I believe, and so the cool thing about them is that the 2 are a mile or maybe 2 miles or so apart. But if you buy entrance into one, since it's technically a national park, you get entrance to the other one.
To the other one.
So we spent that whole day walking around Old San Juan, trying little cafes and stuff, and you know,
Well,
taking walks around the museums there.
Well, when we went to the first one, we were in the first part of it, the San Cristobal one, the longer period of time. The other one was smaller, but while we were exploring, he was showing me this one spot that he had went with his buddies back when he was on the ship for school. And
Was that with the little iguana? hanging
Iguana,
out?
yeah. You were showing me like that one spot you wanted to show me the entire time. We had toured other spots before that, but this was mishap number 3, I think, and it wasn't really our fault, but it was just kind of
Completely unforeseen.
It was just kind of funny. We were standing there, and he was trying to take a picture of the spot where he had the iguana in his original trip, and out of nowhere, it felt really out of nowhere, a flash monsoon just
The whole sky just goes dark out of nowhere, and suddenly, you know, there's a couple raindrops, and then like 3 seconds later,
It just pours.
the whole sky was falling. Like,
Yeah.
I was drenched through to my underwear in less than 10 seconds.
I mean, it sounded it sounded just like this. Okay. But the worst part of it is, I think 1 second you were looking at me, like trying to find me, and I was running away from you, trying to find some place to hide because the rain was just, it was coming down. Like, the inside the fort was flooding.
Oh yeah,
And
they were built with all of these flood passages and little drainage tunnels and stuff to withstand that kind of weather. But almost the entire fort, there are no ceilings
it's
around
all
most
open.
of it. So there were like 25, 30 people maybe outside who all got caught in this flash flood out of nowhere, and we were all just kind of huddling under this little tiny archway with like a foot of water rushing
going
between
our feet. And we were wearing sneakers too, and like at that point, like
we were already soaked.
We were
I mean,
soaked. I was freezing. Your friends were laughing at me for that because I kept saying I was cold, and it was like 85 degrees over there. But it was coming down, and I mean, I think it was coming down for almost an hour, like 45 minutes
Yeah, it was
or
a good
so.
amount of time.
And we were just watching people running in and out trying to find shelter because it was bad. But as soon as it started, 45 minutes later, it was just,
as quick as it came.
it went
It
away.
went.
I mean, it was like kind of drizzling for the rest of the day. Like when we were moving around to the other fort, it was kind of like a light drizzle here and there, but it wasn't like nearly as bad as when we were in there. We did a little more exploring. You got the picture you wanted, and then we decided to walk the mile to the other part of the fort. We didn't stay in there that long, but we took a couple of pictures in there, and then we decided to go grab lunch and kind of explore a little bit.
Swung by the Capitol along the way.
Yeah, we walked
Beautiful.
the Capitol. Yeah, that one was kind of an interesting sight too. That was mishap number 4, I think.
Oh, the little,
Yeah.
when I was down there with my friends a couple of years ago for school, we found this nice little kind of hideaway beach right near the Capitol, and I wanted to take her there because it was beautiful. But there's a little concrete staircase that goes down, and in gigantic spray painted letters it said on the wall this time around, it was something to the effect of "Gringos not welcome, go home," or something like that. And we were just like,
we saw that and we're like,
maybe we don't want to go down
we're like,
there.
we're not going on this beach today. And we turned around and then just kind of looked at the Capitol, took a couple of pictures, and then we walked back. To be fair, surrounding that area and that beach were a bunch of slums over there. It was not exactly
on the north
safest
side of the
area.
seawall, there's a little bit of old San Juan that was built outside of the seawall, and there's one road in and one road out. Most of the buildings are kind of decrepit and abandoned, and
they don't even have like windows and stuff, or they're boarded up half the time. It was pretty crazy
it's a
walking.
little sketchy down there.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. It was beautiful on the other
It's
side.
cool
though.
to see. It's still real colorful and all that, you know.
But once you got past there and like you went more towards where we were, like where the forts are, it's beautiful over there. We were walking around the courtyards and everything like that. But after that, we kind of just decided, I think we headed back to the hotel after that, after a day of exploring and taking pictures and everything like that. We grabbed coffee at a cafe and everything. And then we decided to just head back to the hotel, and
That was the night, wasn't it?
that was the night. Okay, so when we went back that night, this was the 30th of November, 2019. So we went back to the hotel and we were kind of just hanging out around. We weren't really doing anything. We were thinking of going to dinner, and we were thinking of going to the pool too and then grabbing dinner. Because there was
there's a little poolside restaurant kind of down
like
there.
a swim up bar and
at
everything,
the
and you can
hotel.
get food. And I was like, okay, I'll just put on like a t-shirt and shorts and like my bathing suit underneath, no biggie. And he was like, but can you put the romper on? And I'm like, I'm just gonna take it off anyway. Like, we're going in the pool. Why does it matter? And he was like, please, for
We'll
me.
just, we'll look a little nice.
And we decided to go sit outside for dinner.
I gotta tell you something. I was planning this moment for probably 3 months, all right? Christina had bought her first camcorder around the time because she wanted to start doing these videos. And I was thinking, man, that would be perfect if she brought her tripod and her camcorder, and we were at the beach for sunset in Puerto Rico, looking over the azure water, and the fiery orange and pink skies at sunset there are almost unmatched anywhere. So I thought it would be the perfect place to, to pop the question, and that we could grab a nice video of it. And
clearly things don't go always to plan.
when we had arrived, Christina informed me that she didn't actually bring her tripod, so I had
didn't
to
have enough room
find
for
somebody
it.
to ask to take the video. So we get down to the restaurant, and we get some drinks and we order some food. And I'm thinking, all right, well, I have to ask somebody to do this. And the sky starts going really dark again, and it was around sunset, but it wasn't that kind of dark. The clouds were coming in, and
They were rolling in fast too.
the wind started picking up,
Picking up.
and the help at the restaurant started packing up tables and
Yeah,
removing tablecloths
yeah.
and closing up shop, and we were the only ones left there, and I'm freaking out kind of inside going, no, this is my perfect night, it's ruined.
People were leaving the pool and everything.
Everybody was leaving the beach.
I mean,
We
that's
knew what
probably
was
the
coming.
only non-mishap, is that we kind of had more of a private moment because there was nobody on the, really not many people on the beach left after the monsoon started rolling back in.
I was thinking to myself, I'm like, we got to do this right now, or it's going to be pitch black and we're going to be completely soaked again, and the whole moment's going to be gone. So real quick, I got up to go over and ask our server if he could give us our food to go in a box. And I got up and I asked him, but I went over to him so that she wouldn't hear. I asked if he could take a video, and I tried to explain to him that I was going to propose, and he said, wait, hold up, I'm not really qualified for this. And he went over and he grabbed his coworker, this girl, he explained the situation in Spanish, and she got super excited. And I just asked her real quick, hey, can you, I'm gonna pretend like we want to take a picture, but can you take a video instead because I want to propose? And she said, yeah, of course.
Yeah,
and so she came over and she packed up our food. And then I asked her, hey, could you take a photo of us while we're here? And I handed her the camera.
Which,
And,
side note, he told me when he was getting up that he was just going to get napkins, and I totally fell for it. I was not suspicious at all. And she came over to us, he asked, and she goes, yeah, I'll take a picture of you guys. Like, you guys go find a spot where you guys want to stand and I'll take a picture of you guys. Did not think anything of it at all, was totally oblivious to it. So I think we got up pretty quickly after she packed the food for you and I, and you decided where you wanted to take
I was trying
the
to
picture.
envision
The perfect
the moment,
setting, yeah.
but it
perfect
was
setting.
already way too dark. But
Well, basically, I said, well, it's perfect. Like, I mean, I was a little sad this morning that we missed the spoon tour, but like today was perfect and I had a great time. And you were like, really? And I said, of course. And you were like, well, with that said, and then you were like, Christina Rose Tortorisi, you went on your knee, you pulled the ring out of your pocket, and you were like, will you marry me?
Meant for each other, staring in her dark green eyes. I want to love her, scared if I should roll the dice and go with the flow. And
My first reaction was not a yes or a no, it was, what was it? I think I said, how did I not see this
how
coming?
did I not see this?
How
coming?
did I not see this coming? Was my very first reaction.
Imagine the first things that come out of your mouth. Will you marry me? How did I not see this coming?
Was my first reaction. Deadpan, was totally surprised, and you were like,
I'm just like, is that a yes?
is that a yes or a no? And I was like, oh, of course, it's a yes. And then you jumped up, gave me a kiss, and put the ring on my finger. And the whole time, this woman was just sitting there recording it, and I thought she was taking pictures, but she was just recording the whole time, and she was like clapping in the background, getting all excited, like congratulating us and everything. But it was kind of a funny moment and really sweet, and I'm glad, we have that moment.
And almost a mirror image of when I originally asked you out, and you
Yeah.
said, how does this not surprise me? Is that a yes? No?
It was just so funny because everyone was telling me he's going to do it. You're going to Puerto Rico.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah,
you didn't want to get your hopes up.
Yeah, everyone was telling me. Danielle would tell me that. Everybody would. My mom would tell me that. And I was like, but But like
I'm thankful she was in denial.
But in my mind, it's like if I tell myself it's going to happen, and if it doesn't, I'm gonna be just disappointed and I'm gonna be sad. So I'm gonna try to convince myself it's not gonna happen. So if it does happen, I'm surprised and I'm excited. So that's exactly what happened, and I convinced myself so well that I was totally shocked when you proposed to me. As soon as I got engaged, like I was calling my family, like I called them and they were like, we knew about it. We knew about it for 4 months and he left us waiting. And I'm like, oh, I was like, I guess you're not that surprised then, huh? I went up talking to them for about an hour. I talked to my brother and everything. I was like video chatting with my friends who were all excited. Some of them were surprised, and then others were like, you knew this was happening, like, come on. And I'm like, I really didn't. Like, I was so surprised, but it was kind of great having, you know, that opportunity to kind of call my family and kind of speak about it. And I think you called your mom and everything too, and said how it went and everything, because obviously your family knew about it. After that, obviously we got engaged over there, and then the next day
the rain ruined the third day too. I forgot that was the reason.
The rain ruined the next day.
So I had planned this months in advance. Once we figured out we were going to Puerto Rico, I arranged one of the motorized catamaran tours to this little island called Culebrita. It wasn't really canceled. They
kind of
changed the location, which
everything.
beach we were going to be visiting. And it's like an 8-hour trip. You take a boat out, you know, they serve you lunch and drinks and all that. You swim around. And
yeah, you get to
there's a snorkeling tour.
Snorkeling, yeah.
You get to check out the reef and everything. So I had been on this previously and I loved it. It was the greatest thing ever. But then I got a call before our trip, and they said, hey, you know, there's some inclement weather and we might have to change the destination of the tour. It'll still go on and all that.
Yeah, and then they confirmed it that day that they were changing the itinerary and taking us somewhere else for our safety.
Because of this big northern swell that, lo and behold, had ruined our previous two days of plans.
Yeah, it was all because of the rain. The monsoons were so bad.
So this swell was actually, it was so bad that we took the boat out from Fajardo, which is on the east coast of Puerto Rico, to the island Culebra, and that whole time when we're going, you know, west to east, the northern swell was just ripping these huge waves rolling directly, you know, transverse across our boat. So the whole time we're speeding across the ocean, the boat's going like this.
Oh man,
you know,
it was so bad.
And it's like an hour-long ride, and I have no problem with that. You know, I love boats and I love ships and I love being on the ocean.
I felt very bad for you because we met this really lovely couple on the catamaran. Thanks to you, because you pushed me to actually talk to people, because I get boat sickness.
2 resident Californians traveling the globe named Leslie and Kyle. They were a great couple.
Yeah, they were a really great couple. And the swell was really bad, like going there.
It was so bad, man. I think the whole boat, almost everybody on the boat was seasick.
Going there, it wasn't as bad. It was coming back was pretty rough. But I as soon as I think maybe 10 minutes into the boat ride, I was like, okay, I need to get some fresh air, because sitting inside the cabin with catamaran was making me super nauseous.
They had one bench on the back on the fantail of the boat for anybody who needed to get some fresh air and sit outside in the case of seasickness. That whole bench was packed. People sitting shoulder to shoulder like this, all, you know, holding barf bags and just like.
I wound up being person number 2 on that boat, on that bench. So I wound up being joined soon I was joined by Kyle. He wound up joining me, and I felt so bad for you. I mean, they were giving me ice packs. They were having me sniff what was it, aloe vera or something like that.
Yeah, hand sanitizer, kind of something just kind of soothe your stomach a little bit.
I had a barf bag the whole time. I was just sick. I couldn't eat anything. I was nauseous the whole time.
The staff of the boat were incredibly helpful.
They were
very,
the whole time. Very kind.
They were trying to help anybody any way they could. But I kept talking to them, and they'd say, "This is incredible," and you know, and all the time we've worked here, we've never seen these kind of waves and this many people this sick.
Yeah, going there, I did not feel well.
We were gonna go to this beach called Flamenco, but that was
because of the swells.
Changed. I believe it was on the northern coast, so because of the swells,
it was too dangerous to go over that way. But when they stopped for us to be able to snorkel and everything, they served lunch and people could snorkel and go in the water and everything. The only thing I think I kept down was water and bread and maybe bits and pieces of lettuce. That was the only things I could drink.
It's a shame
or
too,
eat.
because this is awesome buffet lunch.
The food was delicious. It was amazing.
Make sandwiches, salad
Just
bar.
smelling it, but like I couldn't keep anything down. So I was basically just eating bread and simple stuff.
The whole day we were there swimming and snorkeling, and
But
it was gorgeous.
I have to say, when I was in the water, I was fine. Like the water really helped. Every time I would go back on the catamaran, I was getting sick over and over again because it was like moving like that, and I don't handle that very well. And then going back, it was worse. The waves were like that, and I was so sick the entire time. Even worse, like I think I tried to eat a little bit of fruit. I think I ate some like watermelon or something like that. That didn't last long. I got very sick from just eating fruit.
Oh man.
And I hung out with our buddy Kyle because he was running around the boat just handing out barf bags with the staff because
Yeah, I was trying to help out too.
everyone was getting sick.
They were going through bags like crazy.
Everyone was getting sick. And so he was helping the staff because they were understaffed for the amount of people that were getting sick, while I hung out with Kyle outside. So there really wasn't much he could do. I just had to kind of wait it out and kind of get back.
Yeah, I tried to comfort her on the bench for a while, but there were so many people that needed to sit outside. Eventually, I just got up and went back in.
Well, I don't regret the trip. Like, it was fun when we were actually in the water and swimming around, because we stopped a few times to go snorkeling, and we went on like a little island and everything and kind of hung out and took some pictures.
Yeah.
So that was fine. That was fun. Like, it was beautiful when we were swimming and everything. But the boat itself, because of the waves and all just, I couldn't handle being on the actual catamaran. But it was, I have to say, I don't regret going on it despite getting sick.
There was also that really, really nice older gentleman there. I don't remember his name, but we ran into him again at the airport on the way back. Remember that? We were picking up some souvenirs.
Yeah, when we were talking to him and his girlfriend, or he was pretty nice too. Yeah, our trip to Puerto Rico was quite eventful. There were a lot of mishaps when it came to the trip, but it was definitely memorable because we haven't forgotten them, and we went in November, so it was definitely a worthy trip. I would love to go back with you sometime again.
Oh, yeah.
And relive those experiences.
The best trips are always the ones that are incredibly miserable at the time.
Yeah, always go totally
But you can
wrong.
tell the story and laugh about it years later.
But
So.
yeah. And we got something good out of it. We got engaged over there, and we have a wonderful story to tell despite all the mishaps. I hope you guys enjoyed this video.
Please comment your thoughts down below. Let us know what you think if you want to see more like this.
Yeah, if you guys want to see more sit-down videos with him and I, please let me know and give some recommendations for any videos if you guys want to see more. But thank you guys, and
See ya.
see ya. Bye.